One of my favorite things to do with My Mommy Style is to meet amazing women that share stories about how they choose to live their lives and share their passion with others. Today we met with Mandi from Vintage Revivals. She has a perfect story to share with us on her blog and a way that she's chosen to use her passion to get through some really hard things and to bring happiness to other moms.
Mandi, thank you for sitting down with us. We want to hear about your blog and how you got started and just all about you.
I had been going through a really, really hard time with my husband. He is a recovering addict, and I started the blog right at the tail end of his addiction. For 8 years, it had been the only constant thing in my life, and it had just sucked all of my self-confidence and all of the things that were what made me who I am. Addiction just takes all of those things away. Even if it's not your own personal addiction, being married to an addict it's just really hard. All of my friends that just bought houses, and they were all decorating with black, slightly distressed furniture. It was really hard because of course you want what your friends have, and felt like not being able to have that created a bigger chasm between where I was in my life and where I wanted to be, and it was just really hard. And so I kind of stumbled upon the world of DIY blogs, and I was so inspired because these women were taking furniture from the thrift store that nobody wanted. They were spray painting it and making it something that was so beautiful, and they were doing it on such a small budget. And I was like, okay, if they can do that, I can do that too, even though I had never done it before. So I went to the DI and I bought a few pieces of furniture and yellow spray paint. Why yellow? Who knows? Let's just do it. And so I brought it home, and I started the blog and I started projects at the same time. So it's been really fun to be able to look back and see the progression and want to delete the whole first 2 years.
No, that's the exciting part.
But I think it's inspiring for people, because if you feel like it's not something that you can do, go back to page 1 on Vintage Revivals and see the crap that I did, and there is always hope.
I love that you chose something that you loved to get you through a really hard time. And it became more than just decorating, right? It was
For sure.
Oh, I love that, because I think, you're going through the addiction with them. Whether you're the one that's addicted to it or not, it's still part of who you are and who your family is and what your identity is. And the only way to really work through that is to kind of say, this is my situation I'm in, how am I going to work through it? So even though it's not your decision, it's still your life, and you found something to help you get through that. I love that.
I knew going into my marriage that my husband was an addict. I thought that I could save him. I thought I could love him so much that whatever hole he was trying to fill with drugs, I could fill with my love and devotion. And unfortunately, that's just not the way that it works.
What was it that finally got your husband to that place?
Just being willing to try, to be willing to just try to do the next right thing, and in the 12 steps, the first step talks about how recovery begins with a tiny flicker of will, because you have to say, I don't want this for my life anymore. And a few months into Court's recovery, he was doing so good. One of the cute sister missionaries pulled me aside and she was like, Mandi, hun, you need to get into recovery for yourself because you're a codependent. And I was like, what?
That sucks to hear.
What does that even mean? I just love my husband. I don't know what that even means. And so I started, looking at myself, because I always thought that Court was the one with the problem and I was just the wife. I couldn't do anything about it. He needed to fix himself, and then everything in my life would be perfect again. And that's just not the case. You don't come through addiction unscathed. Everyone is affected by it.
Have you read Codependent No More?
I love Codependent No More. Yes.
It really is amazing. It changed my life because, I think you're right. You try to fix. And I definitely was doing that without realizing. You think you're helping and you're hurting, but you don't know how to do it.
I didn't realize how much I was manipulating with my emotions and just all of the things. So Codependent No More like gave me kind of a guideline, like this is what is wrong and this is what I was doing, and there were specific characteristics that I was like, I do that.
In order to move on, you have to turn it over because there's so much pain.
Right. Well, they always say the pain of the problem, you change when the pain of the problem becomes worse than the pain of the solution. I would wrap it up just by saying find something that you love, that makes you happy for yourself, and just love the people around you and be compassionate. And that's my mommy style.
Thank you.
Life is a journey, still you will see. It's okay to dream and be what you want to be, yeah.